told you it was love. They convinced you it was normal. They made you believe the problem was you. But somewhere beneath the confusion, the self-doubt, the endless explanations that never quite made sense, you knew something was wrong. This is where we stop pretending. This is where we examine what they never wanted you to see. The patterns that controlled you, the systems that protected them.
Dreaming of getting the all-new iPhone 17 Pro designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever?
Then stay in bed and let a Boost Mobile expert deliver and set it up for you.
Oh, actually, they will have to get up and open the door.
Oh, right.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Plus, free home delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Boost Mobile is now sending experts nationwide to deliver and set up customers' new phones.
Wait, we're going on tour?
We're delivering and setting up customers' phones. It's not a tour.
Not with that attitude.
Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com.
Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host, and today we're diving into something that might explain why you, yes you specifically, ended up in that relationship if you're someone who prides yourself on being understanding, if you're the friend everyone comes to with their problems, if you've been told your whole life that you're too nice or too sensitive, this episode is going to hit differently. We're talking about weaponized empathy. And I need you to understand something right from the start. Your compassion wasn't your weakness. It was his weapon. A quick note before we dive in. While narcissistic abuse happens across all genders and relationship types, today I'm focusing on a pattern I see repeatedly in my work. Narcissistic men targeting empathetic women. If you're experiencing abuse in a different dynamic, the psychological patterns we discuss still apply. Just adjust the pronouns for your situation. So let's get to it. Let me paint a picture for you. There's a certain type of woman that narcissists and abusers spot from across a crowded room. She's not wearing a sign. She doesn't announce herself. But somehow they just know she's the one who stops to help the person struggling with groceries, the one who remembers everyone's birthday, the woman who can sense when something's wrong before you even say a word. She gives second chances, third chances, sometimes chances she's lost count of because she genuinely believes people can change. Sound familiar? This woman has what I call an empathy signature. It radiates from her in everything she does. The way she listens without interrupting, how she makes excuses for other people's bad behavior. The automatic apology that leaves her lips even when she's done nothing wrong. She's conscientious. And abusers, they're hunting for exactly this signature. Today, we're going to talk about something that might finally make all the pieces click into place. We're going to explore why empathetic and compassionate women become prime targets for narcissistic abuse. We'll break down the specific traits that abusers look for, how they test and exploit your empathy from the very first conversation, and why your kindness became the very tool used to control you. We're diving deep into the psychology of trauma bonding, the sob story strategy, love bombing tactics, and that persistent belief that you can fix him. If you just try hard enough, I'll walk you through the red flags you might have missed, the devastating cost of weaponized empathy, and most importantly, how to break free from these patterns without losing the beautiful, compassionate person you are. By the end of this episode, you'll understand that your empathy wasn't your weakness. It was simply exploited by someone who saw your strength as an opportunity And you'll learn how to reclaim that empathy with the boundaries and wisdom you've earned through survival. So let's get started. Here's what most people don't understand about how abusers select their targets. It's not random. It's strategic. It's calculated in ways that would honestly be impressive if it weren't so destructive. They're testing you from the very first interaction. That story about their difficult childhood, it's a probe. The way they accidentally overstep a boundary and then watch how you react, that's data collection. When they share something deeply personal, way too soon, and you respond with compassion instead of appropriate caution, they just got their confirmation. You thought you were building connection. They were building a file on your vulnerabilities. The highly empathetic woman will do something that immediately flags her as the perfect target. She'll rationalize his bad behavior before he even has to make an excuse. He shows up late. She thinks about traffic, work stress. Maybe he had a hard day. He snaps at her. She wonders what pain he must be carrying to react that way. She does his emotional labor for him. And he notices. If you're healing after narcissistic abuse, you already know recovery isn't linear. Some days your nervous system is in overdrive. Some days everything feels numb. And finding the right support shouldn't add to that overwhelm. We've put together resources that meet you where you are. Our Gumroad store offers pre-recorded somatic healing sessions so you can listen to it over and over again just when you need to, recovery workbooks to write down your thoughts as you process, and ebooks designed to bring information and healing to aid in the recovery and healing process. For deeper guidance, visit Forward Rising Academy, where we host an in-depth yet perfect beginner course on narcissistic abuse recovery for survivors rebuilding after toxic and manipulative relationships. And if you prefer articles, insights, and long-form content, you can find all of that on our main website, movingforwardafterabuse.com. All links are in the episode description and found on our website. Let's get into the psychology here, because this is important. Empathy is literally the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. In healthy relationships, it's the foundation of intimacy and connection. But in the hands of an abuser, your empathy becomes the very mechanism of your entrapment. Think about what empathy makes you do. It makes you give people the benefit of the doubt. It makes you try to see situations from their perspective. It creates in you an almost compulsive need to understand why someone behaves the way they do. Now imagine weaponizing that. Every time he does something hurtful, your empathetic nature immediately goes to work. You start constructing explanations. His mother was cold. His father was absent. He's been hurt before. He's struggling with work pressure. He didn't mean it that way. You misunderstood. Maybe you're being too sensitive. You see what's happening? Your empathy just transformed his abusive behavior into something understandable, forgivable, even something you feel guilty about. You went from victim to emotional detective, trying to solve the mystery of why he hurt you instead of addressing the fact that he hurt you at all. This is the empathy trap, and it's devastating because it uses your best quality against you. So let's take a moment to recap what we've covered so far, because this is important. We've established that highly empathetic women have a distinct signature that abusers can spot. You're the woman who listens deeply, who gives the benefit of the doubt, who naturally takes on other people's emotional burdens. And narcissists aren't just stumbling into relationships with you by accident. They're actively looking for these exact qualities. From the very beginning, they're testing you. Every interaction is gathering data. When they share something vulnerable too soon, they're watching how you respond. When they cross a small boundary, they're seeing if you'll excuse it. Your compassionate reactions are confirming to them that you're the perfect target. And here's the part that's so hard to accept. Your empathy becomes the trap itself. When they hurt you, your first instinct isn't to hold them accountable. It's to understand why they did it. You start doing their emotional work for them. constructing explanations, making allowances, lowering your expectations. You're literally using your own empathy to keep yourself stuck. The abuser learns quickly that your compassion is exploitable. They can hurt you, and you'll not only forgive them, you'll convince yourself that you're partially to blame. This is how the cycle begins. Now let's talk about one of the earliest and most effective tactics they use to hook your empathy right from the start. Almost every abusive relationship starts with what I call the sob story strategy. He opens up to you, usually way too quickly, about his painful past, the ex who broke his heart, the family who never understood him, the world that's been so unfair to him. And what does your empathetic heart do? It aches for him. It wants to be different. It wants to be the one who finally sees him, values him, loves him the right way. Congratulations. You just accepted a job you never applied for, healing a man who has no intention of getting better. The sob story serves multiple purposes. First, it creates instant intimacy. He's sharing his vulnerabilities with you, which feels like trust and connection. Second, it establishes him as a victim in your mind. This becomes crucial later when he's actively harming you because you've already accepted the narrative that he's the one who's been hurt. Third, and this is the most insidious part, it sets up a dynamic where you're constantly making allowances for his behavior based on his past trauma. He gets a free pass on accountability because, well, you know what he's been through. Your empathy told you this was a man who needed understanding. What you couldn't see yet was that this was a man who would exploit that understanding at every turn. Once the relationship is established, your empathy becomes the chain that keeps you locked in place. Let me walk you through how this works. He does something hurtful. Maybe he criticizes you in front of friends. Maybe he forgets plans that were important to you.
There are a million reasons people start therapy. A breakup, burnout, a new job, whatever your reason, there is one place to start. Grow Therapy meets you where you are with support that actually sticks. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. They connect you with thousands of independent, licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0, depending on their plan. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Visit growtherapy.com/start now today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/start now. growtherapy.com/start now. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side, your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus free home delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Maybe he gives you the silent treatment for days. Your initial response is hurt. That's normal and healthy. But then your empathy kicks in. You start thinking about his stress at work. You remember that story he told about his critical parent. You consider that maybe you're expecting too much. Maybe you need to be more understanding. Maybe if you just loved him better, he wouldn't act this way. So instead of holding him accountable, you excuse him. You might even apologize to him. You definitely blame yourself, at least partially. This reinforces to him that your empathy is exploitable. he learns that he can hurt you. And not only will you forgive him, you'll actually take on the emotional work of explaining to yourself why he did it. You'll manage your own expectations downward. You'll convince yourself that you're asking too much. The cycle repeats. Each time you dig a little deeper into justification. Each time your empathy works harder to make sense of what's happening. Each time you become more convinced that leaving would be abandoning someone who needs you. This is compassionate captivity. You're not staying because you're weak. You're staying because your strength, your empathy, your compassion has been turned into a prison. If you are enjoying this episode and are finding value in it, please visit our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you receive your podcasts and give us a positive review. Thanks and much appreciated. Now we need to talk about the savior complex that often develops in highly empathetic women in abusive relationships. It's not about ego. It's about a fundamental belief that everyone deserves compassion. Everyone has potential for growth. Everyone can change with the right support. In healthy contexts, these beliefs are beautiful. In an abusive relationship, they're lethal to your well-being. You start to believe that you're the key to his transformation. If you can just love him enough, understand him deeply enough, be patient long enough, he'll heal. He'll become the man you know he can be. The glimpses you see sometimes when he love bombs you or has a moment of clarity, those become evidence that change is possible. So you stay, you tolerate, you excuse, you explain, you try harder. What you don't realize is that he's not changing because he doesn't want to change. The current situation works perfectly for him. He gets his needs met. He faces no real consequences. Your empathy ensures that he always has an excuse and you always have hope. The I can fix him phenomenon is really about your empathy, convincing you that leaving equals giving up on someone. And for the deeply compassionate woman, giving up on someone feels morally wrong. It feels like a failure of love. But here's the truth. Bomb you need. You can't fix someone who doesn't believe they're broken. You can't heal someone who uses your compassion as a shield against accountability. Let me give you some specific warning signs that someone is targeting your empathy. These are things that might seem sweet or might seem like connection building, but they're actually manipulation tactics. He shares intensely personal information very early in the relationship. Normal emotional intimacy builds gradually. This is called trauma bonding, and it's designed to make you feel special and trusted. He positions himself as different from other men, often by criticizing other men. I'm not like those guys who just want one thing. I actually care about who you are as a person. This appeals to your empathy because it makes you want to validate that he is indeed different. Spoiler alert, he's usually worse. He tests your boundaries in small ways and watches how you respond. Does he push for more time than you offered? Does he ask for favors before the relationship really warrants it? Does he ignore a no and see if he can change your mind? These are empathy tests. He creates situations where you feel sorry for him. His car breaks down. His roommate is terrible. His job is awful. His family doesn't appreciate him. He's always the victim of circumstances, and your empathy makes you want to help, support, rescue. He compliments your empathy specifically. You're so understanding. You really get me. I can talk to you about anything. While these seem like compliments, they're actually confirmation that he's found what he was looking for.
We all prefer things a certain way, like groceries. If you want groceries just how you like them, you gotta try Instacart. They have a new preference picker that lets you pick how ripe or unripe you want your bananas. Shoppers can see your preferences upfront, helping guide their choices. Because when it comes to groceries, the details matter. Instacart. Get groceries just how you like. There are a million reasons people start therapy. A breakup, burnout, a new job, whatever your reason, there is one place to start. Grow Therapy meets you where you are with support that actually sticks. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. They connect you with thousands of independent, licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0, depending on their plan. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Visit growtherapy.com/start now today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/start now. growtherapy.com/start now. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Pay attention to how you feel after interactions with him. Do you feel energized or drained? Do you feel seen, or do you feel like an emotional support system? Do you feel like an equal partner or like a therapist? I want to talk about what happens to your empathy over time in an abusive relationship. This is something people don't discuss enough, and it's one of the most painful aspects of recovery. Your empathy becomes depleted. You've spent so much energy trying to understand him, making excuses for him, emotionally supporting him, that you have nothing left for yourself. You stop checking in with your own feelings. You stop trusting your own perceptions. You become so focused on his emotional state that you lose track of your own. Your empathy becomes misdirected. You're pouring compassion into someone who's actively harming you while neglecting the person who actually needs your empathy most, yourself. You would never tolerate watching someone treat your friend the way he treats you. But your own suffering, that somehow seems more acceptable. Your empathy becomes distorted. You start to believe that real love means unlimited tolerance, that real compassion means no boundaries, that being a good person means accepting whatever treatment comes your way without complaint. This is the true cost. It's not just that he's hurting you. It's that your most beautiful quality, the thing that makes you who you are, is being corrupted. Your empathy is being taught that its highest expression is self-abandonment. So where does this leave you? Right now, you might be sitting with a lot of feelings. Maybe you're angry at him for exploiting your kindness. Maybe you're angry at yourself for not seeing it sooner. Maybe you're grieving the time you lost or the person you used to be before this relationship changed you. All of those feelings are valid. All of them deserve space. What I want you to take away from this episode is that knowledge is the first step. You can't change what you don't understand. And for so long, you've been trying to understand him, his motivations, his pain, his behavior. But what you really needed to understand was the dynamic itself, the pattern, the strategy. Your empathy isn't broken. It was systematically exploited. There's a massive difference between those two things. One is a flaw in you. The other is a crime committed against you. Moving forward looks different for everyone. Some of you are still in these relationships, trying to figure out what to do. Some of you left years ago, but are still carrying the weight. Some of you are just now realizing that what you experienced wasn't normal love. It was abuse dressed up as romance. Wherever you are in your journey, this understanding matters. It reframes your entire experience. And if you're listening to this and feeling seen for the first time, I need you to know something. You are not alone, not even close. Empathetic woman meets charming man. He love bombs her. She feels special. Then slowly Methodically, he uses her own compassion to trap her. This isn't happening because empathetic women are weak or stupid or broken. It's happening because there are people who view empathy as an exploitable resource rather than a beautiful human quality. And they're remarkably good at finding and targeting it. The women in my community who are healing, who are rebuilding, who are learning to trust themselves again, they all started exactly where you are right now, with awareness. With that moment of clarity where everything suddenly makes sense, where the fog lifts and they can finally see the pattern they've been trapped in. That moment you're having right now, that's the beginning, not the end, not the solution. But the beginning of understanding yourself differently, of seeing your empathy not as the thing that destroyed you, but as the thing someone else weaponized. You didn't hand them a weapon. They turned your strength into one. If today's episode resonated with you, you'll definitely want to check out episode 104, where we dive deep into triangulation, one of the most insidious manipulation tactics narcissists use to keep you off balance. We break down how abusers bring third parties into your relationship to create jealousy, competition, and confusion, all while maintaining control. You'll learn to recognize when someone's playing you against others and why this tactic is so effective at destroying your confidence. Episode 104 is waiting for you in the feed, and trust me, the pieces will really start clicking into place. And if you're ready to go even deeper, episode 103, The Awakening. How narcissistic abuse patterns are embedded in every system women face is a powerful 40-plus minute deep dive that will completely shift how you see the world around you. We explore how the same manipulation tactics used by individual narcissists are woven into workplace cultures, healthcare systems, religious institutions, and even family structures. It's one of our longest episodes because this topic deserves the space. If you've ever felt gaslit by a system, not just a person, episode 103 will validate everything you've been experiencing. Fair warning, it's intense, but it's the kind of episode that changes how you move through the world. If you're listening to this and recognizing yourself in everything I'm describing, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not stupid for having empathy. You're not weak for being compassionate. You're not to blame for his abuse. He targeted you specifically because of your best qualities. That says everything about him and nothing about you. The journey ahead involves learning to trust yourself again, learning to extend to yourself the same compassion you so freely give others, learning that boundaries aren't mean. They're necessary. Learning that you can be empathetic without being exploitable. You didn't cause this by being too nice or too understanding. You survived this because you're strong enough to love deeply, even in the face of cruelty. Now it's time to direct some of that deep love toward yourself. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, moving forward doesn't mean abandoning who you are. It means becoming who you are with the wisdom of what you've survived. Until next time, be kind to yourself. You deserve the compassion you've been giving everyone else. For more information on narcissistic abuse recovery, visit movingforwardafterabuse.com, where you'll find over 250 articles on manipulation tactics, recovery stages, and rebuilding your life after abuse, plus additional resources on our Gumroad page and our course on narcissistic abuse recovery. This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. The content shared is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis, please seek help from a qualified professional or contact a local crisis hotline.
Dreaming of getting the all-new iPhone 17 Pro designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever?
Then stay in bed and let a Boost Mobile expert deliver and set it up for you.
Oh, actually, they will have to get up and open the door.
Oh, right.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side, your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus free home delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Few things are as uplifting as the greatest moments in sports. And nothing brings us together quite like Team USA at the Olympic Winter Games. From NBC Universal's iconic storytelling to the innovative technology across Xfinity and Peacock, Comcast brings the Olympic Games home to America, sharing every moment with millions. When Team USA steps onto the world stage, we're not just watching, we're cheering together. This winter, we're all on the same team. Comcast, proud partner of Team USA.
This work is hard, really hard. Questioning everything you were taught, seeing systems that were invisible, sitting with truth that change how you see the world. It's exhausting and overwhelming sometimes. There's no timeline for this, no right way to process it. We've gone daily now because these conversations matter. Subscribe so new episodes land automatically when they drop.